You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. Thank you for attending this month's board meeting. Please take this opportunity to silence your cell phones. If you're seated at the table, please make sure that the microphone in front of you is clear of obstructions such as papers and screens, and that the green light is on. Please do not turn off your microphone during this meeting. The audio engineer will be controlling the volume of each microphone. If you're not at the table and you are called upon to speak, please wait for a microphone to be brought to you so that you're heard clearly in the room and on the webcast. Thank you. The webcast will begin in 10 seconds. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking. You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees are muted when entering, and you'll need to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. For voice-only callers, please unmute your phone as well as pressing *6 to unmute your mic on Zoom before speaking.
Good morning, everybody.
You've successfully joined the webcast. Our program will begin shortly. If you're presenting today and joining this meeting on Zoom, please note that all Zoom attendees
meeting
are
of the
muted
directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation doing business as Empire State Development for this Thursday, December 18th, 2025. Staff is here. Staff is on the phone. I'll ask everybody to keep their phones on mute until you're ready to speak. As always, the public was given an opportunity to participate, and notice went out about the meeting, and I do not see anybody from the public here with us. Similarly, the public was given an opportunity to comment on all the agenda items by submitting their written comments by noon yesterday, and I'll state for the record that no comments were received from the public regarding today's agenda. As always, the directors were given all the materials in advance of today's meeting, and of course are free to ask questions at any time during the presentations by staff. I'll now ask, do any of the directors have any potential conflicts of interest with respect to any of the items on today's agenda?
Yes,
Hilda?
I will recuse from item 3A.
3A. Great, duly noted. Anybody else? Okay, and we'll mention that again when we get to that item. Let's see. First item on today's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the November 20th, 2025 Directors Meeting. So they've been circulated. I will move them. Michael seconds them. Anybody have any comments, revisions, or additions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The minutes are approved. So Hope cannot be with us today. She's traveling on a very important, neat issue for ESD. And so we're not going to have her report, and she'll give her report at the next meeting. So I'm going to, before we continue with the official agenda, and what I skipped, and I'm good, I told you, for making at least one mistake at every meeting. What I like to do is first go around the room at the table and have folks identify themselves. First, if we could just do board members, so I could recognize a quorum, and then I'll have the rest of the senior staff introduce themselves. So,
Hilda Rosario Escher, Director.
Francine Del Monte, Director.
Benson Martin, Designee, DFS.
Lorraine Harris, Director.
John Wong, Director.
Michael Rosen, Director.
great. So we certainly have a quorum. So if you were wondering, the minutes we just approved was legit because we have a quorum. And so, Noah, I'll ask you to start, and then we'll go around the horn.
Sounds good. Noah Raymond, Chief of Staff.
Jason Clark, EVP, Division of Minority Women Business Development.
Liz Luskin, EVP, Division of Small Business and Technology Development.
Rich Gagliano, SVP Marketing.
Simone Bethune, Mountain Grants.
Irvine Armin, Assistant Director of Life Sciences.
Selena Gul Mohammed, Senior Program Manager for Connect All.
Earl Thompson, Vice President, Entrepreneur Development.
Joe Tazwell, New York City Regional Director.
Tony D'Alessio, Deputy CFO Controller.
Ray Orlando, Chief Financial Officer.
Joshua Bloodworth, General Counsel.
Molly Bauer, Deputy Director, Global New York.
Lennox Reeves, VP, Global New York.
All right, good. And Debbie and her new colleague, Courtney, welcome. And the staff in IT, thank you for always taking care of us. So and we have plenty of people joining us on the call. So now we'll continue with the rest of the agenda, and we do corporate action items first. And Rich Gagliano, our Senior VP of Marketing, has a presentation for us, something to do with the World Cup.
Yep. I was going to say, not to be presumptuous, but as I think we all know, the Tri-State area will be the host of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. In an effort to extend the World Cup experience beyond those actually attending the matches at MetLife Stadium, and to allow residents and communities across the state to participate and reap in the economic benefits of the World Cup, we're proposing the creation of the New York State Community World Cup Grant Program. Unfortunately, we failed in coming up with a good soccer acronym, so we've got the New York State Community World Cup Grant Program. The program includes an up to $500,000 total allocation to ensure that eligible REDC regions have an opportunity to play a visible and meaningful role in the World Cup. Funds can be used to cover eligible production costs related to proposed local viewing party and fan zones, including staffing, LED viewing screens, staging, security, sanitations, permits, accessibility, accommodations, and marketing promotions of those events. This will be a competitive grant program run through the CFA, open to entities including nonprofit destination marketing organizations, municipalities, local development corporations, and chambers of commerce. Individual grant awards can cover up to 50% of the cost of the total events, not to exceed $70,000 per event. Happy to answer any questions.
And is this for all REDCs, or is it just for Long Island and the Hudson Valley?
It's actually excluding Long Island, Hudson Valley, because if you remember last board meeting, or 2 board meetings ago, we approved funding to actually run events. So we'll be running events on Long Island and Hudson Valley. This is for the rest of the state.
Uh-huh. So I knew there was a Long Island, Hudson Valley.
Everyone's involved.
Right, so everybody
The World Cup.
Yes, very good. So good. Very neat. And it'll be part of the REDC CFA process.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody have any questions for Rich on this? No. We don't have any comments from the public. So I will move it. John Long seconds it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The motion carries. All right. Thanks, Rich. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
All right. So next we have our spotlight presentation. And if you remember at the last meeting, we always learn a lot from all the different presentations, but we were interested in learning a little bit more about ESD's reach beyond the state of New York. And so we have a global New York division. And with us today is Lennox Ruiz, our VP of Global New York, and Molly Bauer, our Deputy Director of Global New York. And they're going to share a little about what they do. And we're excited to hear.
Thank you, Chairman Law and Board of Directors. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to present our Global New York division today. Yes, indeed, you can think of us as the most internationally facing group within ESD. Our mission primarily is to assist New York State small and medium-sized businesses to export their products globally. Today we'll do a duet, if you will, of my colleague Molly Bauer, who will present what we do and how we do it. But I will begin by giving you who we are and why we do what we do. We work closely internally with the Small Business Division. I see our colleagues here today. We operationally report up the chain to Jeff Januszewski, who is the Senior Vice President. Internally, we work closely with the regional offices, the MWB, Small Business Division, NYSTAR, Public Affairs, Marketing. Locally, we work very closely with the Chambers of Commerce, industry associations, and marketing extension partnerships. Statewide, we work closely with the Small Business Development Centers and the District Export Councils. And federally, we work very closely with the U.S. Department of Commerce, the Small Business Administration, and the Import-Export Bank. And you'll hear a little bit more about that shortly. Our team comprises, in addition to myself, 12 professionals based here in New York City and across the state. Lauren Quilley handles our STEP program along with Ms. Fuller Shade. Bianca Kobos is our administrative assistant. Brian Tubner handles the Global New York Grant Program. And of course, you see Molly and myself there administratively covering the division. Next slide, please. Regionally, our staff comprises covering all 10 regions of the state. Loretta Bean covering Long Island. Neil Nayak covers the Mid-Hudson and Southern Tier. Catherine Weinberger covers the North Country, Mohawk Valley, and regional and the Capital District. And Carrie Baker Scott covers the Finger Lakes region and Central New York. Mosa Mbundu covers the Western New York region, along with R.J. Ball. So why do we do what we do? Looking out towards the world, even at our 340 million plus population, we're still less than 5% of the world's population. It means that 95% of the world's population lives outside the United States, and with that we know over 75% of the world's purchasing power is outside the US. Trade represents approximately 56% of the world's $111 trillion economy as of 2024. And we do know that exporting companies grow much faster than non-exporting companies. Specifically, estimated about 24% greater in growth, and that translates into job creation and employee earnings. And even with those stats, would you believe that less than 1% of our small businesses export their products and services today? So with this information and the opportunities to help our small and medium-sized businesses, we look out towards the world, looking at the areas that present the greatest potential for small and medium-sized businesses to export their products, and where there may be opportunities for future growth. We have established today 15 locations across the globe, really covering the entire globe, if you will. As you see here, starting in our region, Canada, the Caribbean, Mexico, South America, we have inset here with satellite operations in Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Peru. And across the pond, the UK, Israel, the Middle East, India, South Africa, that's our beachhead into the African continent, and of course Australia and China. And in the rest of Asia, we cover Taiwan, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea. So it's a wide berth. We cover the entire globe. And in terms of what we do specifically, I'll be turning, sorry.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
So, yeah, on that side. Does ESD actually have official offices in all these countries? Or are they all consultants and contractors?
These are contractors. These are contractors. We don't have official brick and mortar, if you will, established abroad. And it's the most efficient way for us to conduct business in terms of working with small and medium-sized businesses.
And all those consultants and contractors, they report to you?
Yes, they report through us here at ESD. And they complement the work of our domestic staff as presented earlier.
And what type of consultants are they? They're not like a McKinsey type. Are they more like chambers, or are they associations, or?
Our consultants are through OCO Global. They're a trade, export, and foreign direct investment firm. So they focus specifically on international trade and foreign direct investment. They don't do any other kind of consulting, like a McKinsey or a Deloitte or anyone else. They're very much just trade only.
So we don't have any ESD employees outside of New York?
No ESD employees outside New York, and these folks are dedicated to us in the pursuit of our effort to export. So at this point, we'll turn to our programs, specifically giving you a sense of our Export Marketing Assistance Service, the State Trade Expansion Program, and the Global New York Fund. At this time, I'll turn over to my colleague, Molly Bauer, to describe each of them.
Thank you, Lennox, and thank you, Board, and go Bills. I hear there's a Bills fan or two here to celebrate the win. So our programs, we have 2 funding programs that have financial resources, and then 1 program that is strictly programmatic. That would be our EMAS program, the Export Marketing Assistance Service. This is directly connected to the 15 international offices. So those 15 offices cover a total of 187 countries, where New York qualified companies, and so to be a New York qualified company, you have to be headquartered in New York. Your incorporation can be anywhere. People can still incorporate in Delaware, but you have to be physically headquartered in New York, have under 500 employees, and then 51% of the value add of your product or service has to be created or made in New York. So while we love our friends in the other states and other countries, if you're manufacturing wholly elsewhere, then you're not eligible for our programs. This is really for New York manufacturers and New York service providers.
And you have to have less than 500 employees?
Correct. And so with this, companies get from October 1st to the end of September every single year the opportunity to select 3 foreign countries to get a custom market entry report to. This report will give a SWOT analysis. It'll give you customized research on if you're already in the market, how you can best expand. If you're new to the market, what your best routes of entry are. And then the really unique part is we give lists of potential buyers and distributors who companies can actually connect with to then sell into that market. And it's all a no-cost service. And so companies can select up to 3 in a period. They work directly with our foreign offices. We vet them internally with the internal staff, and then we connect them with the country of their choice so they can work on entering or expanding into that market. And we've had record numbers for this year. So last year was our first year with our new system where we had a full service and had our 15 offices. Prior to that, we only had 7. The year before, we did our new round. So in 2024, we had 147 applications to our EMAS program. This past year that just ended in this September, we had over 470, which was a 170% increase in people who have used this EMAS service. So record-breaking numbers for Global New York. STEP is one of our main funding programs. This is funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration, so the government shutdown has affected it. We are currently working with the Small Business Administration to get any outstanding funds, and we're also waiting to find out if we will be getting another round of funding. They did announce a STEP 13, but obviously the shutdown of the government earlier in the year kept them from announcing the awards and what states would get, so we're still a bit in limbo for this. But it is a great program that does still have some funding, and companies that are New York companies, but they can manufacture anywhere in the U.S., not just in New York, since it is a federal government program, can get up to $10,000 a year through 50% reimbursement on eligible items such as exhibiting at a trade show, not just walking the floor, getting a custom international marketing program, having someone build an international website for you so you can have a website actually hosted in Japan or in India rather than it being a .com, which makes it easier for people to buy and sell. And many other different things can be used as long as it's for export purposes. So if you need to get a CE mark, which is kind of like an approval mark in Europe, you can use this to help fund lawyer fees and things like that to get those marks. So it's really effective in helping companies offset some of their costs to export. We then have a larger fund that'll do all those same things, but you can get up to $25,000 twice a year for a maximum of $50,000. But for this one, you do have to meet that New York State 51% requirement because it is a New York funded program. And it's a really great way for people who are going to trade shows. And these trade shows do have to be international, or if they are domestic, a large portion of the people attending the show have to be from an international market because it is all about selling externally rather than domestically.
So some companies can get up to $60,000 a year?
Yes. You just can't double dip. So if you're going to one trade show or you're doing one thing through Global New York, you have to do a separate activity under STEP. We do every other year a road show where we bring all of our international offices. Kevin, you joined us 2 years ago in Long Island to kick off when we did it in 2023. We did it again this past September. It was the first time we went to every single region of the state from September 3rd to September 11th, and it gave New York companies the abilities to sit down and talk with our international representatives about how their business fits into the market that these offices represent. We had over 450 individuals come across the 10 stops. 150 new companies attended, which is astronomical when you think about that the year prior to doing this, we only had 147 people apply for our main program. We had a 29% increase in attendance from when we did this in 2023, and over 850 meetings were had between companies and our international offices, which was a 160% increase from the previous year. One other thing we do is we go on trade missions using STEP to help offset the cost of trade missions, the travel for companies. We take companies all over the world. Our most recent ones in March of 2024, we went to Australia with 7 New York companies that had 50 meetings between Sydney and Melbourne. We went to South America. Lennox and I took 9 companies to Brazil, Chile, and Argentina, where they had over 180 meetings. We just partnered with our gaming division, Patricia Bailey, and took a group of 12 companies to the Tokyo Game Show in Japan, and they had over 100 meetings. It was the first time we've opened up our programs to game developers, because they're not necessarily in the normal stage of exporting, and it was a really successful event. And then Commissioner Knight led a trade mission to Canada this past October, where 8 companies joined between Toronto and Montreal, and we had 30 B2B meetings during that time. And at all of these, companies are signing purchase orders or entering into deals. We had someone who recently just reported an $800,000 sale from joining us in Brazil, Chile, and Argentina. That company is based in the Mid-Hudson. So these things do work, and we're really excited to be able to take companies. And so we have some very exciting upcoming missions as well. In a month, we're taking companies to Mexico City and Monterrey. We have 8 companies that are signed up and ready to go. Our premier trade show that we do every year is Arab Health, now World Health Dubai in the UAE, in February, where we buy a booth and then have companies get miniature booth space inside a New York pavilion. We're going to go to India in March. We'll go to Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam. It'll be our first trip to the ASEAN region ever for Global New York. That'll be May 2026. And then the governor announced earlier this year that we will be doing a trade mission to the Dominican Republic and Jamaica, which we're also excited about. It'll be our first time going to the Dominican Republic.
In terms of prior trade shows, how do we benchmark, the success of them? Do we new orders, new jobs created, and because there's always, we get audited by the controller, we get questioned by legislators all the time. So how do we know that these missions are worthwhile and we measure success?
So both the EMAS program, which we use on any trade mission, we use the EMAS program to connect companies with the international market. So they have to then give us an impact report on that, which records projected sales for 6, 12, 18 months out, because they are long-term relationships. Very rarely do you go and sign and have something materialize. So we follow up with them at the 6-month mark, the 12-month mark, and the 18th-month mark. And the same for STEP as well. We get an impact report on that, and then Loans and Grants gets an impact report for the Global New York Grant Fund. So we track sales. We do ask if job creation does happen, but job creation is usually a more long-term thing to track than the sales are.
It's mostly sales.
Yes.
Got it. I'm glad to hear it too.
And we had, when Commissioner Knight went on the trade mission to Taiwan and Japan last April, a company got $30 million from going on that trade mission with us, an investment fund, which then led them to open a larger facility here in New York and do some job creation. So $30 million, in funding for a company, that's larger than you can expect. So that was a really great return on investment.
Right.
And if anyone has any questions, Lennox and I are very happy to answer.
Good. I have one more. I'm sorry, I'm hogging the floor. But, so I suspect the 500 employee threshold is because larger companies presumably have their own resources and we're trying to help smaller businesses, and we're defining small businesses under 500. But I'm sure we have some large employers in New York State that do a lot of exporting. And do we have any programs to assist them to make sure that they remain strong and large and successful?
So we have wiggle room on EMAS and on the Global New York Grant Fund because they are not statutory. So in a case where a larger company did come to us, we do have the ability to say, yes, we can help you. We just try to mostly keep it for smaller. When it comes to STEP, since that is a federally funded program, that is a hard and fast 500, but on the other sides, we do have wiggle room.
Got it, great. Yeah. Anybody else have questions? No?
Yeah, do you have an office in Puerto Rico?
No, so Puerto Rico is technically part of the U.S., so it would not be viewed as international trade. But we do, work with Betty Enriquez when she does have companies that she would like to connect. We do work with her.
Okay, thank you.
This is the one exception to when you said no staff outside New York, no staff outside the United States. We do have a small office in Puerto Rico that we work with.
Right.
That just celebrated its 10-year anniversary a couple months ago.
Yep.
And they're ESD employees?
Those are ESD employees,
Yes.
unlike the contractors that the Global New York team works with.
But they aren't part of Global New York or trade.
Okay.
Got it.
That office acts to help support business as well as tourism.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah. Anybody else? Well, Lennox and Molly, that was terrific and very educational and informative, and we thank you for coming by and sharing.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, so now we're going to continue with the agenda with the regional projects section, and we're going to start in the Finger Lakes region. We have 2 items, 2 separate votes, and I believe we have Steve Golding on the phone. He's our Economic Development Program Administrator.
Thank you. So we're asking the directors to approve a $339,850 capital grant to the University of Rochester from the Regional Council Capital Fund, Round 13, for a $1.7 million project. The grant supports a portion of the cost of construction to renovate the Wilmot Biobank and Biospecimen Research Center, which occupies 1,300 square feet of office, lab, and storage space located within the University of Rochester Medical Center. The grant also supports the purchase of equipment that will expand and accelerate human cancer research by maintaining a comprehensive catalog of biospecimens, clinical metadata, and study design services. The total project cost is $1,699,250, financed by 80% grantee equity, or $1,359,400.
Anybody have any questions? No, we don't have any comment from the public. Hilda, this is up in your neck of the woods.
Yes.
So I'm assuming you're going to second it? Very good. So I will move it, you will second it. And all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Steve, continue.
We are asking the directors to approve a $5 million capital grant for the West Main Gateway Project, a $10 million fund matched by the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation as part of the Regional Revitalization Partnership, also known as RRP. The West Main Gateway Project supports capital costs for the West Main Street corridor of Rochester through a business improvement fund. The fund will provide capital grants for building renovations, small business assistance grants for machinery and equipment, and public realm improvements. The grant will flow through One Rock, the administrator of Rochester's RRP, and is implemented and managed by a local program administrator team.
Okay. We do not have any comment from the public on this. Are there any questions or comments? No? So I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Steve. Now continuing with another Steve, Stephen Hunt, our Regional Director for the North Country Region, has an item for us.
Yes, good morning. We're seeking board approval for a $1.9 million DRI grant to the St. Lawrence County IDA to assist with a portion of the cost of preserving the historic School of Business building facade and redeveloping the property into a new gateway connecting the downtown commercial area to the riverfront in downtown Messina. The project was identified as a priority of the Village of Messina in the DRI Strategic Implementation Plan. The project is currently underway, but is anticipated to be completed when concrete can be poured this spring. ESD is now requesting board authorization for this project.
Got it. And how much is it for, Steve, again?
$1.9 million.
All right. No comments from the public on this one. Do we have any comments or questions from the directors? None. So I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
We'll move over to Mohawk Valley Region. We have two items, two separate votes, and we have Allison Madmoon, our Regional Director, on the call.
Good morning. The directors are being asked to approve an Upstate Revitalization Initiative Round 1 2023 Challenge Grant of up to $2.6 million to be used for a portion of the cost of working capital expenses related to administering technical assistance and workforce training to agribusinesses through the Institute for Rural Vitality at SUNY Cobleskill. In late 2023, the Mohawk Valley was the recipient of $10 million to be used as to support workforce development proposal titled Mohawk Valley Empowers that was created in response to the REDC Challenge competition. In spring of 2024, Governor Hochul announced the $10 million MV Empowers initiative to increase workforce participation, expand wraparound services, and redefine career readiness in the region. SUNY Cobleskill Institute for Rural Vitality is one of 12 workforce development projects being funded through Mohawk Valley Empowers. The Institute for Rural Vitality at SUNY Cobleskill is Cobleskill's agribusiness incubator, and it began implementing a value-added food production program, including workforce training and business technical assistance activities as part of this project in January 2025, working with companies, for instance, like a plant-based ice cream company, to scale production and train and hire employees. The total budget for this project is approximately $2.6 million, and ESD's participation in the project for this working capital grant will be 100% of project costs. The project is consistent with the MVRADC's strategy to support workforce development in agribusiness, which is one of the Mohawk Valley's key strategic focus areas.
All right, thank you, Allison. Anybody have any questions? None. We don't have any comments from the public. I will move it. Lorraine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Allison, continue.
The second project the directors are being asked to approve is also an Upstate Revitalization Initiative Round 1 Challenge Grant of up to $1.6 million to be used for a portion of the operational costs for Hillside Work Scholarship Connection in Utica. Hillside Work Scholarship Connection is also one of 12 workforce development projects being funded through the Mohawk Valley Empowers initiative described in the last presentation. Hillside is a not-for-profit organization that provides behavioral health, child welfare, education, and family support services. Hillside Work Scholarship Connection is providing its range of core services, incorporating long-term advocacy and individual mentoring, academic support and enrichment, soft skills and life lessons, leadership development, employment and higher education readiness training, along with after-school jobs with local employment partners in strategic sector areas in our region. Hillside sought ESD assistance to expand Hillside Work Scholarship Connection programming into workforce sectors that are critical to the economic vitality of the Mohawk Valley region. Their core programming has a strong track record of improving graduation and employment outcomes. Additional resources were necessary to build specialized career exposure and training in healthcare, STEM, CTE, and other high-demand fields. The grant makes it possible to develop new curriculum, secure employer partnerships, and align program delivery with regional workforce priorities. The total budget for this project is approximately $5.6 million, and ESD's participation in the project for this working capital grant will be 18% of project costs, or $1.6 million. And the project is consistent with the MVRADC's support of workforce development in the Mohawk Valley region.
Good. Thank you. Any comments or questions? None. No comments from the public either. And so I will move it. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Allison. Move over to the Capital Region. We have Heidi Passos, our Economic Development Program Administrator.
Good morning. Today I'm requesting the directors approve a $10 million Regional Council capital grant to the Albany Convention Center Authority for a portion of the costs associated with construction and renovation to acquire and renovate a vacant historical building in the city of Albany in Albany County. The total project cost will exceed $58 million. The Albany Convention Center is a public authority established by the New York State Legislature as a public benefit corporation in 2004, entrusted with developing a convention center and related facilities in downtown Albany. The ACCA will acquire and renovate a large vacant historic building in the city of Albany, allowing the authority to double rentable space, preserve and enhance a historic structure, remove a non-historic building addition, and replace this addition with a new space that will connect the building to the existing center. The project includes 5 new meeting rooms, a large multi-purpose room, a large ballroom or pre-function area on the first floor, and a 4,000 square foot courtyard for outdoor events and placemaking on State Street. The grantee has met its obligations under the incentive proposal for the first $3.3 million disbursement. ESD is recommending that the board authorize the release of funds for this project. The project is located within the Albany CAP initiative boundary and consistent with the CREDC's regional strategy PLACE, leveraging the creative sectors to drive community investment, vibrancy, and industry diversification with a focus on sustainable growth.
All right. Well, thank you, Heidi. Anybody have any comments or questions? None. We have no comments from the public. So I will move it. Michael seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Heidi. On to the New York City region, live and in person. We have Joseph Tazwell here. He's our regional director. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. The directors are requested to approve a $500,000 regional council capital grant to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey in connection with the construction of a 347,000 square foot state-of-the-art air cargo handling facility located in Cargo Area D at JFK International Airport. The Port Authority is a bi-state public agency responsible for administering the transportation infrastructure in the New York region, including seaports, bridges, tunnels, and airports. In 2014, the New York City Economic Development Corporation applied for funding through Round 4 of the REDC initiative on behalf of the Port Authority, who will administer the grant and the facility. The project was designated as a priority project by the New York City REDC, as it was aligned with the state's priority area in that REDC round, Global New York Export. Overall, the JFK air cargo sector plays a vital role in the regional and national economy, supporting more than 93,000 direct and indirect jobs, and generating $11.4 billion in economic activity annually. The $500,000 grant will be used in connection with the $264 million cost to construct the new air cargo handling facility, which replaces 2 older facilities. This is the first new air cargo facility at JFK in 25 years and has increased the airport's cargo handling capacity by 25%. Port Authority is leasing the facility to Real-Term Airport Logistics Properties through a special purpose entity, Aero JFK2, who will in turn sublease to Worldwide Flight Services, JFK's primary cargo handler. The project resulted in 1,100 construction jobs and will create 100 direct permanent jobs. The project was completed in December of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Anybody have any comments or questions for Joseph? None. We don't have any comments from the public either, so I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Joe. All right, also live and in person, Simone Bethune. Hi, Simone. Simone's our Senior Project Manager and Coordinator of Projects, Loans and Grants, and she has a couple of items for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to everyone. The directors are requested to authorize a $460,000 Round 7 Restore New York Award to the City of North Tonawanda in the Western New York region for renovation and rehabilitation of a 9,400 square foot former hardware store on Oliver Street into a mixed-use commercial and residential property. The project was completed in November 2025 at a cost of $1.3 million, resulting in 1 commercial space on the first floor and 4 residential market rate units. The project's developers and the beneficiaries of the grant, Prime Design Western New York, were also offered an incentive of $250,000 in Downtown Revitalization Initiative funding to rehabilitate the property in 2022. This grant will also be submitted for CEO signature approval in the December approval cycle. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Simone on this? None. No comments from the public either. So I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Next, Simone.
Next is the at the direction of agenda, which is originating from the governor, the New York State Assembly, or the Senate, and ESD is named to administer the funding but does not select the recipients of funding. We are requesting approval of the following 3 awards, items A through C, to the Rochester Broadway Theater League, the Barrhaven 1869 Opera House, and the Palace Performing Arts Center, which collectively total $1,691,200. These funds include $552,700 made available in fiscal year 2025-26 from the New York State Senate and $1,138,500 from the New York State Assembly to historic performing arts centers located throughout upstate New York in response to the financial insecurity experienced in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The funds will be used for general operations. And finally, the directors are being asked to authorize a $3 million special appropriation award made available in the fiscal year 2025-26 budget at the direction of State Assemblyperson Angelo Santa Barbara of the 111th District to Empire State Youth Orchestra. Empire State Youth Orchestra is a Schenectady-based not-for-profit that helps young musicians from disadvantaged communities with free daily music instruction and mentorship at both the elementary and middle school levels. The organization is undertaking a modernization project to upgrade an existing building to create the Youth Music Center, which will be a sound-optimized environment for hundreds of student musicians. The center will be a permanent feature on ESYO's campus that will allow its 14 ensembles and the Chime after-school program to operate under one roof. The project is estimated to be complete in February 2027 at a cost of $9.7 million. And I can take any questions.
Well, thank you, Simone. This is the item that Hilda will be recusing herself from. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Simone? None. We don't have any comments from the public on any of these items either. So I will move it. Benson seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Simone. Thank you. Next up, Earl Thomason, our VP of Entrepreneur Development, has 2 items that require 2 separate votes.
Thank you, Chairman Lowe. Good morning, Chairman, board members. Entrepreneur Development is requesting board approval to enter into a grant agreement with Bridge Street Development Corporation as a new Entrepreneurship Assistance Center. The total grant amount is $288,333, covering a 20-month designation period beginning January 1st, 2026 and ending August 31st, 2027. Founded in 1987, the EAC program operates a statewide network of 26 centers supporting entrepreneurs and small businesses in historically under-resourced communities. The designation of Bridge Street will complete the EAC network, adding support for entrepreneurs and small businesses in Central Brooklyn. Happy to answer any questions.
And Bridge Street is a not-for-profit?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Anybody else have any questions for Earl? None. We don't have any comments from the public on this either. So I will move it. Michael seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion approved. Earl, continue, please.
Entrepreneur Development is seeking board approval to enter into a $280,000 grant agreement with Welcome to Chinatown to administer the Entrepreneur AI Technical Assistance Program. The board approved the Entrepreneur AI Technical Assistance Program guidelines in the October 2026 board meeting. As a reminder, this initiative, part of the Governor's Harmony AI initiative, is designed to expand AI literacy and practical applications for small businesses through the statewide EAC network. Under the program, a designated specialist EAC will develop AI curriculum modules for use across all EACs and provide AI-focused one-on-one technical assistance to entrepreneurs and small businesses across the state. Through a competitive RFA process, Welcome to Chinatown was selected to administer the grant. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? No, no comments from the public, so I'll move it. John seconds it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Earl.
Thank you.
All right, on to a Life Sciences Initiative Fund. We have Irvina Meehan, a Senior Project Manager of Life Sciences.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. We're seeking the director's approval for a New York First grant of up to $1 million. The New York First Medical School Grant Program is designed to encourage the recruitment or retention of exceptional life science researchers to accelerate translational research at the state's medical schools. New York First grants can be used for capital and working capital expenditures. In 2022, New York First grants were awarded to 4 medical schools. 3 of these grants were approved by this board in November of 2024. We are now seeking board approval of the 4th grant to NYU Grossman School of Medicine, which has now met the threshold for approval. NYU Grossman School of Medicine recruited Mark Yarmarkovich, PhD, from Children's Hospital of Philadelphia to serve as assistant professor in the Perlmutter Cancer Center and the Department of Pathology at NYU. Dr. Yarmarkovich is an expert in biotechnology, protein antibody engineering, immunology, cancer biology, bioinformatics, and computational biology. Since moving to NYU, he has filed 9 patent applications and raised more than $5.6 million in external funding. The total cost of this project is $3 million. NYU Grossman School of Medicine is contributing $2 million per the 2-to-1 required match of the New York First program. Thank you. I'll take any questions.
Right, and this is for both public and private universities, correct?
Correct.
And how many medical schools are there in New York State?
We
Not a
have
trick question, I was just curious.
we have received, I believe, around 10 different applications from 10 different schools, medical schools.
Now, the
so
reason
far.
I asked, if you remember, the board, we approved last year a grant to LIU for a school of veterinary medicine, and I was surprised to learn it was only the 2nd school of veterinary medicine. New York only had 1, and now we have 2. And so I was just wondering how many medical schools we have too. You know, I think we probably have more pets than people. But anyway, any other questions for Irvina? All right. Here are none. No comments from the public. So I will move it. Lorraine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. Thank you, Irvina. We have a Connect All matter as well, and with us today we have Selena Gul Mohammed, and she's our program manager for Connect All.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members of the board, for the opportunity to bring this matter to you today. Connect All is requesting that the directors authorize 2 grant awards in the corresponding general project plans through our municipal infrastructure program. As noted in the materials, the 2 grants are for a total not to exceed amount of $20,771,324.69 to construct broadband infrastructure to serve over 2,100 locations in the counties of Erie and Wyoming, including 82 community anchor institutions. Including the projects before you today, the total amount of grant awards authorized by the board under this program will be approximately $265 million. I'm happy to take any questions.
No, you guys are doing a good job getting the monies out the door to all these communities that need it. Anybody have any questions for Selena? None. We have no comments from the public. So I will move it. Hilda seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thanks, Selena. Okay, next up, Semiconductor Growth Access Program. We have Deneen Lena, our Senior Director of Strategy and Operations for GoSemi.
Good morning. We're asking the board to approve 3 federal grant awards totaling $9,059,998 and 2 Upstate Revitalization Initiative Matching Funds grant awards totaling $1,372,815. This request, totaling approximately $10.4 million, is the administration of a federal grant awarded to New York State by the U.S. Department of Treasury as part of the Investing in America Small Business Opportunity Program, or the SBOP program. Through this award, ESD is partnering with 3 grantees to deliver the Semiconductor Growth Access Program, SGAP, designed to provide essential legal, accounting, and financial technical assistance to underserved businesses to help them access capital resources, including financing, grants, and other tax incentives, with the intent to focus on beneficiaries that are within or planning to pivot into the semiconductor supply chain and the broader semiconductor ecosystem. The 3 recipients are Center State CEO, Mohawk Valley Edge, and the Capital Region Center for Economic Growth. If you'd like, I can provide a breakdown of the awards that are provided in the schedule and summaries. Thank you, and happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Denise. Anybody have any questions for Denise? None? No comments from the public either. So I will move it. Francine seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion is carries. Thanks, Denise.
Thank you.
And last up on our agenda is the administrative actions. And we have Doug Janice, our Senior Counsel for Corporate and Real Estate, on the line.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Directors. As a reminder, in order to help streamline your board meetings, we've implemented an oral summary presentation process in connection with the administrative action section of the agenda. So you have each received a full set of the written descriptive materials for each of these items, but rather than having individual oral presentations on each one, I'll provide you with a brief summary of all the items, and at the conclusions, we can entertain any questions or comments you might have. The 7 December administrative action items are summarized as follows. Item 8A is relative to authorization to make statutory payments pursuant to the New York State Electric Generation Facility Cessation Mitigation Program. Directors are being requested to approve 2 payments pursuant to the program. The first is to the Town of Somerset in the amount of $204,422 due to the closure of the Somerset Electric Generating Facility in March of 2020. And the second is to Tompkins County in the amount of $57,887 due to the closure of the Cayuga Electric Generating Facility in November of 2019. Approval of these payments will bring the total disbursements from the fund to approximately $114.1 million of the $140 million authorized for the program, leaving a program fund balance of approximately 19% of the authorized funding. Item 8B is relative to authorization to enter into a contract with the New York State Thruway Authority for the partial build-out of the Excelsior Broadband Network. Directors are being requested to authorize a 30-year contract for a total amount not to exceed $59 million to secure the indefeasible right of use for the last available telecommunications duct along the New York State Thruway. This contract is part of the build-out of the Excelsior Broadband Network, which Governor Hochul approved or announced in the 2025 State of the State, and the directors approved the launch of back in March of this year. Item 8C is relative to authorization to enter into a contract for consulting services for the Life Sciences Workforce Development Initiative. Staff is seeking directors' approval to enter into a 1-year contract with the Boston Consulting Group, or BCG, for an amount not to exceed $520,000 to provide consulting services supporting the development of ESD's life sciences workforce strategy for the next 5 years. BCG will conduct a comprehensive assessment of current anticipated workforce needs across emerging and high-growth life sciences areas and work with ESD to design targeted programs that address critical skill gaps, strengthen the talent pipeline, and prepare New Yorkers for careers in a rapidly evolving life sciences industry. Item 8D is relative to authorization to enter into a contract amendment with HR&A Advisors, Inc. for project implementation and support services for the Long Island Forward Housing Program. Directors are being asked to authorize a contract amendment with HR&A Advisors to continue to provide programmatic and technical support for the housing program. This amendment will ensure continuity of expertise to support municipal technical assistance and program implementation. The contract term will be extended for an additional 12 months for an amount not to exceed $200,000, bringing the total contract amount to an amount not to exceed $428,000. Item 8E is relative to authorization to amend a contract with SHI International Corp. for the renewal of Monday.com licenses. Directors are being asked to authorize a contract amendment with SHI International Corp. To renew Monday.com licenses for an additional 3 years for an amount not to exceed $550,638, inclusive of a contingency of $183,546, which will bring the total contract amount to $645,810. The Monday.com platform is a project management and lead tracking tool that helps teams manage projects, workflows, and daily tasks utilized by a variety of ESD departments and divisions. And finally, items 8F and 8G are relative to authorization to enter into 2 contracts related to the market order program. These contracts focus specifically on the dairy industry with the intended goal of increasing dairy consumption through research and marketing and promotion, as noted in your board materials. Item 8F is a 1-year contract with Cornell University to provide research services of the New York State dairy industry for an amount not to exceed $1,668,809. Item 8G is a 1-year contract with New York Agriculture in the Classroom for marketing and promotion of the New York State dairy industry for an amount not to exceed $896,000. With that, I will now turn it back to our chair, who will call for any questions or comments you may have on any of these items before calling for a vote. We also have item-related staff on the line as well to take any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. I only have one question, and that's on the Boston Consulting Group and the life sciences study. Maybe it's in the materials, I missed it, but can you send me the scope of that? I'm curious. I hope they're going to talk to the right people for that, because you read articles all the time, life science facilities in Boston and New England, the need for space is not there. They're converting those buildings into housing, which I guess could be a good thing too. And I know some of the life sciences folks in downstate are struggling a bit too. So will they be speaking to our labs and our life sciences institutions as part of their study? Liz, is that something you could answer?
Yeah, so this study is specifically about, we're, as you know, spending a lot of money to advance cell and gene therapy as a commercial enterprise. We'll be doing things on neurodegenerative disease. So these are all the cutting edge fields, and we want to make sure, even though we have, for example, lab tech programs, they're not necessarily getting those skills that they need to be employed in those fields. So this is really about those cutting edge aspects of life science where most of the workforce development strategy is about current openings. So those are for things that already exist, but we're investing as a state in things that are going to exist, and we want to make sure that we are preparing people to participate in that, both so the opportunities can come to New Yorkers, but also so that the firms will locate in New York because they know they have the workforce to complete that work. And this includes, a lot of these skills are transferable to advanced manufacturing of biologics and things like that.
Yeah. And then the results of the study will be shared with our community colleges who could develop programs or certificate programs or degrees in these fields, which we think these companies are going to need.
Right.
Got it. Very good. All right. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions on this or any other matter? All right. We don't have any comments from the public on any of these matters. So I will move it. Michael seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. All of these administrative actions are approved. That concludes our official business. Does any director have any? Does any director have any other business or new business they'd like to raise at this time? Hearing none. Our next meeting is going to be here on January 15th, so about 4 weeks from today or so. On behalf of the board, on behalf of Hope, I want to wish everybody who's celebrating this week a very happy Hanukkah. For those who will be celebrating, a very Merry Christmas. For those who will be celebrating Kwanzaa after the Christmas holidays, I wish you a very happy celebration there. And then, of course, wishing everybody a very happy New Year. And really want to thank the team here, everybody, not just around this room, but on the phone, and then all the staffers who, do a lot of the grunt work and the leg work. Thanks for a great 2025, and again, I can speak on behalf of the whole board. every week we're impressed with not only your professionalism, but the depth and diversity of all the lives we touch in this state in all the different programs. So it's very impressive, very exciting, and it's a privilege and an honor to be part of it. So with that, I'll move to adjourn. Francine seconds it, and all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Enjoy, everybody.
Thank you.